Welcome to the Yappin Podcast. I'm your host, Rafa, and let's start yapping. So, this is our college football part of the show. We are brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook. Used it's all over. You can use it all over the country, all over the world. You can use it anywhere. BetUS for football, basketball, baseball, tennis, blackjack, everything you want to use it for. BetUS.com. Promo code Yappin. We'll have a promo code for you. You get a bonus on your first deposit. Very easy to cash out. So we'll have more information on that for you coming up. But we just completed week 1 of college football. And we're going to start off this show every week. It's our college football show. We're going to start off every week with your biggest winners and losers. We will start with the biggest losers first. And I'm going to give them to you right now. Number one, the biggest loser for me, and I have two. We're usually in 2 or 3 losers. Some weeks there may be 5 or 6. But we're not going to do them all. We're going to do the 2 biggest, 3 biggest. So we'll start off with the University of Alabama, Kellen DeBoer, who I never liked as a head coach for that job. They went into Florida State, looked awful, had a good opening drive, and then after that looked absolute shit. So that is number 1 for me. They're the biggest losers of the week. And the schedule will only get tougher for them. And then number 2, Boise State. Boise, a team that everyone kind of around college football feels like they're going to be the non-Power 4 team, you know, the group of 5 team that's going to have a playoff spot. So we all feel that that's always going to be the team. And you lost to a team who South Florida played well. They're also a group of 5 team that has now basically set themselves up, you know, as the best group of 5 team, at least for 1 week, because they got to play the Gators this week and then Miami the week after that. So, but as of right now, the Boise State Broncos are our second biggest losers of the week. And now we'll go to our biggest winners of the week. And Florida State obviously is going to be on there because they beat Alabama. And Alabama looked awful. Florida State looked good. I also have them pretty high up on my list. So great job for Norvell, Florida State. They look good. Number 2, South Florida. We just mentioned Boise. They whooped on Boise at home. And then the biggest winner of the week so far, right here, the University of Miami, Carson Beck, beat Notre Dame. And, you know, we talked about it last week. Everyone's always high on Notre Dame. CJ and I, we're always low on Notre Dame because it always just starts off that everyone's so high and then they just kind of fall off.
Always something low.
Always. So big winner, Miami, and they'll have a couple of they got a couple of games here coming up that they should be able to win. And they will be facing Florida State on October 4th. So if they can both get there and hopefully both be undefeated, that would be great for that rivalry again. So as of right now, that biggest winner of the week so far was going to be Miami, at least after week 1. And a lot of people are probably thinking, oh, well, why isn't Ohio State the biggest winner? Or why aren't they up there? They beat number 1 Texas. Well, because Ohio State was at home. They were favored in the game. And their offense didn't play great. So, which leads, we're talking about that game. Let's talk about Archie Manning. We're getting a lot of people out there and all the memes, and the memes have been great. You know, talking about, is he overrated? Is he this? Is he that? He's not ready. The teams he played against were shit last year, yada, yada, yada. And to me, I think both defenses played great. If you look at the numbers, Texas allowed less. They gave up less yards than Ohio State on defense. So if we look at it, the defenses were just as good. Okay. For me, I thought both teams, at least the first half of the game, the play calling, when you look at Texas, for me, Sark, you're a great play caller, supposedly, all of this hype, yada, yada, yada. For you to have your quarterback on the road against what is one of the 2 best teams in the country talent-wise, because you're 1 and they're 2, or they're 2 and you're whatever, they're 1 and you're 2, whatever. Either the 2 best teams, you're on the road. I don't want my quarterback on the first drive having 3rd and 5s because you decided to run the ball on the first 2 plays. I don't want to that to me. And then the plays you chose at the goal line on 4th down on the first drive, there was just, to me, Sark didn't do a great job. Arch had he made bad decisions, or he didn't make correct decisions, or he didn't see the open guy. He had a guy there on, I think it was 3rd and goal before the 4th down where they got stopped, maybe a 2nd goal. Guy's wide open and he misses him. And he was rolling to that side of the field. He had 2 guys and he missed the guy. Could have been a touchdown. Maybe the game is a different story. I mean, there was just so many things there. But I put the blame on Sark, and right behind that is Archie Manning. And I'm not going to sit here and say he's overrated, because we mentioned it last week. He went on the road and played the other team that has as much talent as he does.
Yes.
But did his head coach get him ready to play? I don't think he did. And I know some of it has to, it comes down on the player, obviously. But I think Sark could have put him in better positions on a lot of the drives, at least early in the game. Especially that first drive, where you could have set the tone early for your team. And on the other side of the ball, with Ohio State, Jeremiah Smith, get him involved early. That is your best player. Just like Texas, Arch is your best player. I want to see Arch drop back and then see if he can make a play, whether it's down the field with his arm or whether it's with his feet. With Jeremiah Smith, you have to get him the ball. So whether it's a wide receiver screen, whether it's a quick slant, whether it's maybe on a jet sweep, something, but get him the ball early. Those are your most talented guys. And now going back to Arch, and I don't know how you feel about it, CJ.
Can I ask you,
yes.
Before we get to Arch, can I actually ask you a question on that Jeremiah Smith point is, do you possibly think that, and I saw this, is that they don't have an extraordinary quarterback. They don't have an amazing quarterback. They need the quarterback. I don't know his name off the top of my head, but I know he's a first-year starter. They need him to utilize what he sees and what he sees now, right? They don't need him to be an amazing quarterback who does all of these extraordinary things. They just need him to get the ball in the right places week to week. And Ryan Day said it. We just need him to go 1-0. If he tries to force the ball to Jeremiah Smith, who, mind you, I think is the best player in the country, but if he tries to force the ball to him all the time, I think he's going to find himself in peculiar situations. And I actually think that for the circumstances, playing Texas, the number 1 team in the country, still at home, I think he played pretty decent, for what at least I was expecting. And I think if he tries to force the ball to Jeremiah Smith all of the time, he's going to find himself in peculiar situations. I think he actually needs to utilize all 4 receivers, because he's not going to see Jeremiah Smith all the time. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, it's not about forcing him the ball. If you can have plays designed, and Grant, they played number 1. They played Texas, the team that's just as talented as they are, right? And they're talented at all the positions. So all the matchups are basically best on best, if you really look at it. Best corner, best receiver, best left tackle, best end, so on, right? So everyone there is best on best. You have to have a better game plan when you get into these games, whether it's against Michigan, Penn State, Texas, in the playoff, whatever. If your quarterback doesn't have that ability, the big arm, the tight window throws, to get your best player the ball in simple situations, because you're not forcing a wide receiver screen throw. That's an easy throw. That's an easy throw to my right, to my left, at the line of scrimmage. That's not a tough throw. If I'm throwing him, if he's got a guy playing 7 yards off on him, I can throw him a 3-yard a quick slant, 3 yards. I can throw him a 5-yard quick slant. It's not that I don't want to force him the ball. I don't want to force the ball into Jeremiah Smith 10, 12, 15 yards down the field, because that's where the mistakes come. But you can get him involved early in simple pass plays. Simple. And that's just part of the game plan. It doesn't even come down really to the quarterback there. I think it's just part of the game plan, part of the play calling, where get him the ball early and in easy ways. And we'll see it. We'll see it this weekend. They're not playing anybody. So you'll probably be able to see some of those where you can maybe get it to him down 10, 12, 15, 20 yards down the field. But when you get in these games where the defenses are good, where the talent is equal, better than, or right there, whether and you know that with them with their remaining schedule is basically Michigan and Penn State, I believe. Getting him the ball against those teams is simple if you have simple calls for it. If your quarterback can't make that extra play, that extra throw, that extra because he doesn't have that yet, simple wide receiver screens, simple slants, simple quick outs, all of that stuff to get him the ball, a jet sweep. I want my best player touching the football at least 20% of the time if he's a receiver. Finding a way, at least in the beginning of the game, till I open it up, 15% of the time. I don't want you to force it to him 10, 12 yards down the field. That's not what I'm saying either, because you don't have a quarterback, at least from what we saw, that is capable of that. So that's all I'm saying on that.
So, yeah, you're just saying that they necessarily shouldn't be forcing Jeremiah Smith the ball, but whoever's calling the plays, I don't think it's Ryan Day anymore, but whoever's the offensive coordinator should be setting Jeremiah Smith up in the beginning of the game to get the quarterback going.
Of course, you got to get him the ball, and he's your biggest playmaker, so you can get him the ball, whether on a jet sweep, on a wide receiver screen. It's just many ways to get him the ball when he is clearly your best player on that side of the ball.
1,000%.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
And I would have liked to see that early, as with Texas. Arch Manning to me is the best player on that side of the ball for Texas. He can do it with his feet, and by no means is he Lamar Jackson, but he can do it with his feet as well as his arm. So for me, on second and 9, 2nd and 10, instead of me handing it to the back to run up against what is arguably the best defensive line in the country and running for 2 or 3 yards, I'd rather see Arch drop back, maybe protect our guy. Maybe he can see something 5-6 yards down the field. Maybe he sees something 10 yards down the field. Maybe he can run it for 5 or 6 yards but if I'm handing it to my running back and he's running into the teeth of that defense, like you saw him 4th down twice on the first drive, and then at the goal line with Arch where you tried to sneak it to the fucking teeth of those monsters on that defensive line, it's not going to work. So for me, I didn't like to see Arch 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6 on the first drive of the game, because to me, I felt like you weren't ready. Because if that's what you thought you were going to come in and run the ball with your running backs against this team, and they ran for 170 yards, I believe. Okay, which is wonderful. Right. But when it gets down to the nitty-gritty, I don't want my quarterback playing the most talented team he's going to play all year long on the road in the first drive of the game to have a 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7.
That was his first game passing. It was his first pass outside of Austin. That was his first pass in college football outside of Austin, Texas.
Listen, I'm not
making excuses. Right. Yeah, we're not making excuses.
I'm not making that excuse because the guy's been in the system for 3 years.
Yes.
He's played. I don't give a fuck if you're throwing the ball in Austin, in Columbus, and fucking
2
Ann Arbor.
Hall of Famer uncles as well who played the same position.
Yeah, and you're probably the most watched athlete in college football this year. All the hype is around you. All the media. There's so much focus on him this year. I don't want to hear that as an excuse. Well, this is his first pass outside of Austin. Oh, this is his first time starting against a ranked team. This is his first time starting on the road. Yada yada yada. Because he didn't have a good game, and I mentioned it on the Two Nobodies that he might not have a good game, and he might not, and he didn't have a good game. And now we're gonna get all the morons from ESPN and people like that listen to the Two Nobodies and comment, and they're gonna sit there, okay, and say, oh, he sucks and this and that. And I told you, on the road against a team just as talented as theirs, if not more,
right.
On the road, okay, with probably a better head coach, okay, and not by much, but a better head coach,
because he's won a national championship, right?
100%, because he's won a national fucking title, okay. So it wasn't like he went in and he did this, at Florida State, or he didn't go into Tennessee or anything like that. He went in to Columbus, Ohio. He went in to face the best team in the country. Or one of the two, and he's the other one, right? So I'm not going to say he's overrated. Now, if he comes out, and he's got San Jose State this week, they're not a very good team, obviously. They're favored by 36.5 points, right? So he might
scrappy team though. Scrappy,
Well,
very
very,
scrappy.
very scrappy
Yeah.
team, and they lost last week at home, a double-digit favorite, and they lost at home last week, San Jose State. So, I mean,
Okay.
they're facing a team that shouldn't put up any fight. I mean, you could
Right.
easily see that game 21-0 in the first quarter, right?
Yes.
I mean, and this is a game where Sark needs to let them kind of loose. Let them loose because you're going to have matchups coming up. You're going to have big games coming up. And this you can't. I felt like he had a leash on him in that first
Yeah,
half.
I would love to see a lot of 5 wide, a lot of empty in this game.
Because he to me, he can play quarterback with any sort of offense if you look at it, right? And he can play with 5 guys wide. He can play in the eye. I mean, he can play quarterback any which way you want. That's what I feel with him. He can throw the ball and he can use his feet. And he's not a guy that's like, oh, he's better with his feet. No, he's just as good with both.
Just as good. Yeah.
He's just as good with both. So let's give him the ability to be able to use both. And when you kind of tie him down on 3rd and 5 and 3rd and 6s, where the defense knows that he's dropping back to pass. On 2nd and 9, 2nd and 8, and you're just handing the ball off, let the defense guess there a little bit. So that's what I didn't like. I'm blaming both, though. I'm not going to sit there and put the entire blame on Sark.
No, I actually liked your take. I think that people are putting too much on Archie and are not putting enough on Sarkisian because the play calling was absolutely atrocious. So I think that people definitely need to put more on. I'm going to use the excuse, I guess, that it was his first game or real game outside of Austin. But I'm looking at the guy who's coached under Saban, the guy who is supposed to be the offensive and QB facade, and he just didn't give Archie Manning any opportunity to really let loose. Like you said, he didn't give him opportunities to really break out.
Yeah, not until it was later in the game, and
right.
Then you were playing from behind, and then their ass got tighter. Basically, is what it
Exactly.
was. The assholes are pinched, and they're a lot tighter. It's true. Listen, I'm blaming both. Right? I'm not gonna blame Sark 100%, and I'm not gonna blame Arch 100% either. It's, to me, he made bad throws. There were bad throws that he made. He could have done better, and Sark could have called a better game. I mean, the play at the goal line on 4th and goal for you to sneak it from 1.5 yards, I thought I know you got a big guy and a big offensive line. I thought that was a bad that play at the goal line, 4th and goal. To me, I wouldn't have ran it. I wouldn't have ran a sneak. And I know you got a big quarterback and a big offensive line to run it into that line. So to me, the blame goes both ways. I'm not using the excuse that he was on the road by any means necessary. I'm not using that as an excuse. And we'll see him get better because he was so bad that he can only get better. And, he's going to face a soft team this week. Let's see if he shows out. And let's see if and listen, and we know what's going to happen. We know he's going to throw for 4 touchdowns probably and run for 1, or maybe throw for 3 and run for 1 or 2, whatever. He's going to be involved with 4 or 5 touchdowns on Saturday. And then
but we need to see that, though. We have to see that. I cannot see him struggle.
You'll see, listen, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen right now. He's gonna have a great game, right? But it's against San Jose State. So we're gonna have next week. You're gonna have all the haters from this week. Well, he did it against San Jose State. So I mean, this game, and listen, and Arch can't pay attention to any of that noise because he's gonna hear it. He's gonna read it. He's gonna see it, all of it, right? But his family, they've been through it, right? So they, I'm sure they're letting him know. Listen, don't worry about what they're saying. Blah, 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 yada, 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 whatever. So even if he has a good game this week, CJ, next week, the haters that hate Arch, no matter what, okay, they're like, I feel like Arch haters are like fucking LeBron haters. Like, because
you're just speaking towards direct people at this point.
I'm letting you know. That's what I feel. So even if he has a great game this week, it's not going to matter because it's against San Jose State. So all the naysayers on Arch that have criticizing him after last week because they're not taking into consideration anything about the team he faced on the road, yada, yada, yada. They don't give a fuck about that because there's a Heisman expectation. And Heisman's, people can want to believe that the Heisman Trophy winner is this and that. Well, Jaden Daniels won it, and he won 8 games. Caleb Williams won it, and I think he won 8 or 9 games. So I mean, it's not that. It's performance. It's performance based. He'll be fine. I think he has a big week this week, and then next week we'll have all the haters again talking shit about Arch.
But
So,
to that
but
point,
so I don't think it's overrated.
I just to transition, I had an amazing time to this next game. I had an amazing time watching this next game. I just it was not very competitive. It was one of the only surprising, really shocker games of the weekend. But to see the fall of the Roman Empire, the fall of the team who I have despised for so many years, to see Nick Saban not on that sideline, and to see Alabama get absolutely dominated, not on the outside, because they did get dominated in the skill positions too, but to get dominated in the trenches, because that's where I watch most of football, to see linebackers just get absolutely hammered, to see defensive linemen get moved off the ball for 4 quarters long. Rafa, I know it hurts your SEC loving ass to see an ACC team go and absolutely just beat the dog shit out of your SEC bullshit fucking conference, darling sweetheart, Crimson Tide, fucking C-suite motherfuckers. I'm so happy at this moment to say this, and I just want to know, how does it feel?
Well, I'll tell you, I've kind of disowned Alabama since Kellen DeBoer got there. But you know that because I told you this. I talked about this last year on the Two Nobodies podcast, which airs Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. live on YouTube. And so make sure you clip that, CJ. But I've said that. I said I didn't like the hire from the start. And you guys were high on him because he's Washington. He's Pac-12. He's straight trash, baby. Look, I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to tell you this today, September 3rd at 3:22 Pacific Standard Time, that I look at Alabama like I look at Alabama this year and last year like I looked at Arkansas when Nick Saban was at Alabama. You're just there. Like you're in the SEC because you're down there in the South, and we can't even throw you to the fucking Sun Belt. We should, but we can't. We can't do it. So I've disowned Alabama since Kellen DeBoer got there. I don't like him at all, and I told you it was too much of a gig for him.
Can we say I'm looking at their schedule right now? After seeing not only the lack thereof on the offense and defensive line and linebacker positions, but to see the effort as well, I can sit here and confidently say that they can lose 6 games. They can go 6-6.
Easy work.
They go to UL Monroe, which is obviously soft ass shit.
Yeah,
and
they
then
win that this week.
They go on a 12-week barn burner because they play Wisconsin, they play Georgia, they play Vanderbilt, which beat them last season. They play Mizzou, which looks absolutely amazing in my opinion in the first week. They play Tennessee and South Carolina, LSU, then Oklahoma. They play the soft ass SEC Week 10 schedule, and then they play at the Iron Bowl. And I'm just like, they can go 6-6.
They can go 6-6. Realistically, I think they go 8-4.
Right.
But 6-6 is 6-6, 7-5, 8-4. That's what this team is. I'm going to tell you something that might not surprise you or might surprise you. I can see this team after Georgia, after they get their ass whooped by Kirby. I can see Ryan Williams saying, "I'm done playing for the season.
Ooh.
I don't need this shit. I'm transferring. I'm leaving this motherfucker the minute the transfer."
That's when it gets ugly.
It's going to get real ugly if that happens. If that happens, it's going to get ugly. And I can see that. I can see that. Who was it last year? Bear Bryant, right? From USC. What was it like week 3, 4? He's like, "No, I'm done. I'm out this bitch," right?
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
Yeah. So I can see Ryan Williams after getting that ass whooped by Georgia, and here before, I think that's before the end of the month. I could see him saying, "You know what? I'm done. I'm done. Call it. I'm done. I'm getting the fuck out of here."
Oh, he's done right now. Just to put it out there, like he's transferred right now. He's done.
Yeah,
I don't care if they win for the rest of this. I don't care if they go 9-3. Like he's done. I think he's gone.
Well, besides being gone, I'm talking about him not playing the rest of the season.
Right. I just think he's already transferred out, like mentally.
Oh, mentally he's checked out, I'm sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
100%.
But
I want to put this in front of you, and I don't want to take credit for this. I saw this on Unnecessary Roughness, the Barstool College Football Podcast. Ryan Williams might be overrated.
Oh no.
Do you oh, hold on, Rafa. I saw this stat. Numbers scream. You know this. Numbers scream. You're a numbers guy. Do you know that in his career, in 13 games with Alabama, he has 2 games over 100 yards? 2. He has 2 games over 100 yards, Rafa. That is Ryan Williams overrated?
Well, let's not. Was he not 17 years old last year?
I don't give a fuck.
You should.
I don't care. I don't care.
I'm not saying he's Jeremiah Smith. I'm not saying he's any of the last 3-4 years of Ohio State receivers. But he is a very, very, very good receiver. And so you got to remember last year, Jalen Milroe, that team wasn't that team was a shit show, right? And to me, I still think he's one of the best receivers in the country. I'm not taking that away from him. Let's look at the quarterback he had last year, Jalen Milroe. He chose to run the ball a lot more than he should have. But I still like the kid. I'm not going to sit here and bash on the kid. I still like the kid.
But I mean, okay, we went through the stretch of Alabama's great quarterbacks, right? We went through from basically Jalen Hurts to Bryce Young. And I think that era is kind of over because of NIL.
They also had AJ McCarron, Craig McElroy,
right. No, that's my point that I'm getting to, is that we're getting back to that era of your point of the AJ McCarrons, where they just kind of have a decent quarterback that can get them by. The issue is with NIL, and now that I'm arguing why NIL is such a good thing, because I think it's dispersed the talent across more evenly than usual.
I don't think that at all, by the way.
Whoa, you do not.
I don't think that at all.
Oh, I think you're so wrong.
Because when I look at the 2 best teams in the country, I think it's Texas and Ohio State. I think
that's not the point. That's not the point, Ralph. That's not the point that I'm making.
No, I think what you're trying to say is that crappier teams have better players now than they did before. And when Nick Saban was around before NIL, all the good players just went to Alabama.
This is what I'm saying, right? My total argument is, in the past, we saw Georgia, Alabama, 3 or 4 teams that not only had first and second string rosters that could beat you, but then they had 3rd and 4th stringers that could compete with you. And I'm now seeing that those 3rd and 4th stringers are now going to the Louisvilles, to the Vanderbilts, to the Georgia Techs. They're going to these, if you will, in college, mid-major quote unquote teams, and they're making these teams compete at a very high level, to where we're seeing conferences now have 5-6 deep. Well, we didn't see that in the past. We saw Georgia get hurt, and you're like, okay, well, they have this guy. They got, their whole wide receiver core is going to the NFL. We're not worried about the next year. Georgia last year was pedestrian at wide receiver, and that's something that you never would see in the past. And with NIL, you're seeing it now.
No, I get what you're saying. I just feel like the 2 teams that have spent the most money, Ohio State and Texas, have the best rosters.
Yes.
Last year it was, and we said it on the 2 Nobodies, Eddie Money and I, before the season started. Ohio State was the best roster. They had the best team. And what happened? They had one hiccup. That one hiccup was Oregon on the road at the end of a game and it was on the road. And people forget, people tend to forget in college football, which is stupid, the road games, which I hate, and it's ESPN's fault. Okay, and it's the fault of the morons who think that rankings matter when one team is a 14 ranked team and they're on the road. Okay, and this is just an example. I'm not going back to that Ohio State. Right. I'm just saying. You won this week, where you have SMU, who's ranked and playing Baylor, and they're only 3-point favorites. Illinois, who's ranked in the top 12, is going on the road, and they're only favored by less than 7 points. So when you have, they don't these people that look, watch this like, oh well, that's the number one team facing a number 3 team. That number one team better win. Well, no, it's on the road. It's a whole
Right.
different
There's
fucking
context.
deal.
There's context.
And it's not on the road at San Jose State. It's at
Right.
the road. It's on the road at Oregon. It's on the road at Columbus, Ohio. It's in Ann Arbor. It's in fucking Hungry Valley, Happy
Right.
Valley, all the fucking
toughest
valleys.
places to play.
Death
Yeah.
Valley, all the shit, right?
Right.
So every fucking valley you can find is a tough fucking road game.
The Mojave Valley or the
all the shit, except Santa Clarita Valley. Ain't no tough road games.
San Fernando either.
And San Fernando Valley either. There ain't no tough road games in there, right? But that's, and these people don't realize that. So when you looked at last year, we said from the beginning, at least Eddie Money and I, Ohio State's the best team. What happened when the playoffs started? You were there at the Rose Bowl. You saw that absolute ass whooping. And every game with Ohio State in the playoffs was an absolute ass whooping. Because the roster was that fucking good.
Right.
Is that roster this year? It's very good. Not as good because they're not as good at quarterback.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, that in later in the season when it's going to matter, the teams that have the best rosters are going to come and win in those big games. My point is not that, like, that's kind of not arguable. That's what we're saying. My point is throughout the season in the past, there was week 1 has been notoriously terrible. Like, it's been notoriously a good game, a good teams versus shitty teams. The good teams kind of just put out their talent, get the third stringers in there. But now, because we're seeing the talent dispersed more, we're going to see week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6 games in the middle of the season that are really, really good because the talent is just dispersed. We're not seeing those third stringers just sitting on the sideline at Georgia. They're on the field at Vanderbilt, Georgia Tech, etc. So I just think that
got you.
Season, we're getting better games.
No, I got you. I got you for sure. I definitely understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I feel like the middle of the pack is a lot better than what they've been.
Yes.
But I feel like right at the top,
yeah,
I still feel that there's just 3-4 teams that are just clear cut above everyone else. And before, we still had 3 or 4 great teams, whether it was Ohio State, Alabama, Texas, Georgia.
Pick
Clemson,
your 7 or 8.
Right. And then LSU for a year here and there.
Right.
And then everything else, it just kind of fell off. Like, you were like, oh,
right.
You know,
when did we think fall off?
Yeah, when did we think Penn State ever had a chance? Like, we already knew that they really never had a chance. And Michigan, by the way, I didn't throw them in there. I don't want someone. Fucking, you forgot Michigan. Yes, Michigan was in there as well. So, but yeah, no, I get what you're saying. The middle of the pack, the middle of those middle teams are a lot better.
Yeah.
So,
and to that, we're on FSU Alabama. I guess the question is should we take FSU seriously? Like, the ACC is now a three-man race.
I do. I take the FSU seriously, and I'll tell you why. Because they're still Florida State at the end of the day, and I know they were awful last year. They still recruit well. Mike Norvell, and listen, as much as we can say that he's not a great coach, that he did this, that, he still had an undefeated team 2 years ago, right? And he lost his quarterback, which is why he didn't make the last 4 teams at that point, right? He didn't make that playoff because his quarterback was hurt, and that was clear cut. If Jordan Travis is there, we know that he's in that playoff. Maybe he even gets to the title game. Who knows? So he was still capable of doing that. He's still capable of recruiting players, right? So, and they're not a bad roster. It's not like Florida State is Mississippi State, right? They're not that. It's still Florida State. So I think I take them for real. And once we get to our rankings, you'll be surprised at how high I have them, how low I may have them, whatever. But I feel like, yes, I think the ACC, when we first, at least when we talked about it last week, we just kind of thought it was Clemson and Miami's going to lose to Notre Dame, and and that's it, right? And maybe Miami gets in at the 11 or the 12 spot or the 10. Now we have 3 really good teams, and let's not discredit SMU. By the way, we're not just going to
Georgia Tech
or Georgia Tech, Mr. Haynes King. We're not going to just throw them away. ACC may have 3, 4, 5 teams vying for a playoffs, for some playoff spots.
And why is that? NIL.
100%. Miami, listen, we can't do NIL for Miami because Miami in years past, and they always kind of recruit,
Right. Decent.
and Miami's
Yeah.
been giving NIL money since the 80s. Let's be
Right.
real. We're not
Many
going to
people
fucking
have.
not say Miami wasn't giving NIL before NIL. Motherfuckers
Right.
been giving out dollars since Michael Irvin and before Michael Irvin and the whole shit. Right?
That 01 team was loaded.
Yeah. Miami's been loading rosters forever, and then that money kind of dried up because they got caught, and now they can do it freely. So they're loading up money, and they're loading it in there for sure. So yeah, the ACC I think is going to be a lot funner than we initially thought.
Yes.
And I thought it was going to be fun because I thought North Carolina was going to be okay. And after that first drive, I mean, listen, North Carolina should take that first drive. They should take that whole script of the first drive and just put
Copy
Bill
and paste.
Bill in their fucking in their ring of honor or whatever the fuck with that drive. And then after that, he can just walk out. I mean, literally. Did you see him at halftime walking off the field? He looked confused. He looked like Joe Biden out there.
Let's get to that. Might as well get to Bill Belichick in UNC. Rafa, the disappointment that I had after that first drive was just so immense. Like I was just there's so many Bosco boys on that roster, and they're just so talented. And TCU just made them seem pedestrian. I mean, you see the girlfriend on the field, and it's just like, oh, I thought we were past this. I thought we were past the antics. I thought we were past the silliness, and they just look silly all night long. Is Bill Belichick in trouble here after week 1 at UNC?
Listen, people always talk about when a college player gets in the NFL, the speed of the game, right? The speed of the game is so much different. The speed of the game on the field for the players, yes, it's 100% different. But the speed of the plays, of the actual plays, when you watch TCU get right up to that fucking line and they're ready to go with fucking 31 seconds still on the play clock, Bill's never seen that shit before. The closest he might have seen one was Chip Kelly was in Philly. Right. He's never seen that before. So for him, I mean, I'm telling you, he looked lost out there. He looked lost. And to me, when they brought in Brad Johnson's kid, that's the kid who should be starting. And I know Bill probably wanted to go with Gio Lopez because he thought he can make plays with his feet, and he's maybe not as talented in offensive positions. So that's maybe why he went there. Why he went with Gio Lopez and gave him money, right? Because this guy can make plays with his feet. Well, he didn't. He looked like Tua after a concussion or two, not even before. Like he looked like Tua after a concussion or two. Like he didn't look good, and so they went to Max Johnson. He looked good for what they have. I don't think they're talented on offense. Just them to get manhandled on defense like that. Yeah. Like, especially to start that second half, you give up a 75-yard touchdown run on the first drive, on the first play right after halftime. Like, what the fuck was the halftime speech about? Right. Was your girl calling it in there? Like, was she in there? Did she run it? I mean, I don't know. I mean, this team looked awful. Bad. I don't even know if they can come back from that. And listen,
no.
I said 7-5 wouldn't surprise me, as 10-2 wouldn't surprise me. God damn, but after watching them on Monday night, 5-7 wouldn't surprise me, to be honest with you. And they got 2 gimme games now with Richmond and I think Charlotte.
Yeah.
So they got 2 gimme games where you can get back on that winning track, get back to 2-1. You have a Clemson team in a handful of weeks here in 4 games. So you'll be your 5th game. You might go into that Clemson game at 2-2, 3-1 if you're lucky at 3-1, because you still have to face Central Florida, who has Scott Frost back. He left. He had a really good team, and he left. Coach of Nebraska didn't do well there. His alma mater. He went back to Central Florida. They won a game, an ugly game. They won. I thought they could have been better. But you have Central Florida on your schedule. You have Syracuse, who was in the game with Tennessee on the road.
They go to Cal after Clemson, who looked amazing.
They go to Cal, which the quarterback at Cal's, if it's the same Latino kid from last year.
Best week 1 performance in the country, I believe, of any quarterback.
And that's the Latino kid who was there last year, right?
Correct. No, he's a Polynesian kid.
Oh, what's his last name?
Something crazy. No, I can look it
up. Oh, okay. I'm not sure then. But Cal, I mean, listen, and you're going to Cal across the country. Like, dude, this
Saga Polutele.
Oh, yeah, that's not the kid I'm thinking about. But hey, listen, if he had a good game and it's been mentioned that he looked really good. I didn't watch it, to be honest with you. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you I watched it. I didn't, because it's fucking count. But dude, that's another game. Like this team can easily be 5-7, and then what do? Are you giving them another chance? You just had a soft ass schedule,
Right?
Literally soft as fuck.
We just said it last week.
Yeah, like the fourth or fifth easiest schedule in the country, and I just don't show up. Listen, you made a mistake with the quarterback, fine, but your defense to just get slapped and just knocked out in the first play of the second half kind of tells me that your speech didn't go well. It didn't resonate with the guys. Like you didn't reach out to them. And so I don't know. And listen, he's an old school coach and he's old as fuck. So a lot of these young kids, maybe they don't. I don't know. They definitely didn't respond, right? And they're gonna have these 2 easy games coming up. Listen, if they have any tight game against these guys, people are gonna start questioning that thing. And I know, listen, it was Monday. It was the only game on. You had a bunch of guys there. Michael Jordan sitting there with Roy Williams and somebody else. I don't remember who else he was sitting there with, or Lawrence Taylor. I mean, just North Carolina icons, right? Julius Pepper was there.
Terrell Owens was there as well.
I mean, you just had, the who's of North Carolina football and the who's of football in general were basically there, to be honest with you. And you laid an egg. So the hope that you were going to have this Deion type of, aura around you, that shit ain't happening.
No.
And now, since I did bring up Deion, I do want to bring that up. And I said it last year, and I'm going to say it again. He's just not a good football coach. He's not a good football coach, CJ. I'm sorry, but he's not. He's a great recruiter of talent. He's not a fucking football coach. Deion Sanders is not a football coach. People can say, "Oh, it's because you're racist. You're a racist because you don't think he's good." It has nothing to do with it. This man didn't call a timeout on that last drive. What the fuck were you waiting for? What were you saving them for? What the fuck were you thinking? There's no excuse for that shit. No excuse. I mean, they probably weren't going to win the game, but give your guys a chance. You didn't give them a chance. You really didn't. I didn't understand what he was doing. Like, what does he think? He's just going to fucking throw a Hail Mary like Shedeur did last year against Baylor? And they ended up making a fucking play and then winning it in overtime? That's what you thought was going to happen? You had 2 timeouts and you were just letting it tick and tick and tick. And then anyone who talks shit about Deion, oh, it's you don't like his style. You don't like the aura.
You're a hater.
You're a hater. You don't like the change. You don't like. No, I don't think you're a good football coach. Right. I love Shedeur Sanders. I think that motherfucker should be the starter of the Browns. That's how much I like the kid. Has nothing to do with his attitude, whatever the fuck. I don't give a fuck. But Deion, you're an awful head coach. I'm sorry. You really are. He's not a good football coach, period. That is my opinion. Think what you want. I don't like black head coaches. That's not a lie. I'm not lying. I love me some Mike Tomlin. I think Brian Flores should be an NFL head coach somewhere. Okay, he got fucked in Miami. There is no doubt about it. Deion sucks. He's a bad head coach. He's proven it to you week after week after week. Deion reminds me of when Joe Gibbs came back to coach the Redskins, and you watched him for like 3 weeks in a row, not calling timeouts or wasting timeouts for no fucking reason, stopping the clock when he was winning in the last 2 minutes, like just dumb, ridiculous shit. That Joe Gibbs realized it and just fucking quit after. He's like, you know what? I'm just too stupid at this point. Like, I'm just too fucking senile. Deion is just not a good coach. Like, he doesn't understand it. And the first time I saw it was with what he did at UCLA, down 9 with 1:03 left, 0 timeouts. And Latu was teeing off on fucking Shedeur the entire game. You had a horrible offensive line, and you left Shedeur in there to prove some kind of point, which was stupid because Latu teed off on his ass again. It made no sense. Literally, you're just a bad head coach. You're a bad decision maker on the football field. Deion Sanders is an amazing recruiter. There is no doubt about it. He has this fucking glow about him. He's amazing. He's the coolest dude in the room 99% of the time. If him and I are in a room together, I'm the coolest. He's second coolest. But that doesn't matter. He's the baddest dude in a room every fucking time. But when there's other head, he's not a good head coach. That's just simple. For me, Deion, take a step back, go to Florida State, recruit for them, and get a fucking job as an assistant coach to the fucking cornerbacks coach. I don't something. Because you're just not a good decision maker on the sideline. That is all. He's a great human being. There is no doubt about it. He goes above and beyond for his players, for his kids, above and beyond. He's a great father. He's a great human being. As a football decision maker, as a head coach, he's not good. That's all. That's all I'm saying on that. Take it as you want. And I'm not nobody to give you this opinion. I'm not Stephen A. Smith. I'm not this dude. I'm not that dude. I'm fucking me, and I'm giving you my opinion. So,
and looking at their schedule, I can see another 4-win season coming because they have to play Iowa State. They have to go to Utah. They have to play Arizona State, Kansas State, Arizona, BYU, and they have to play TCU. So tough road coming up for Deion.
And Salters played good.
Right.
He played pretty good.
He played decent.
He played pretty good. I thought Georgia Tech was going to win the game no matter what. Salters played pretty good. He should have been given a chance as good as he played. Okay? He should have been given a chance at the end of that game. His head coach did not give him that chance. That's all I'm saying. It was only 28 seconds or 35 seconds or whatever it was. It's plenty of time. Clock stops for a first down. You had 2 timeouts. You can get out of bounds. He was not given that chance. That's all I'm saying. Deion did not give him that chance. And that's my knock on Deion as a head coach.
Yeah.
Take it for what it is.
So last big game that we haven't covered that happened last week was Clemson and LSU. A very interesting game in my opinion. I think both teams are still really good and have a good path going forward. But what did you take away from that game?
I took away that quarterback at LSU is really good.
Nussmeier,
really good. Klubnik, good quarterback. Okay. Maybe, and by the way, if you look at the Heisman numbers, he's still second to win the Heisman this year. I don't know how. Nussmeier's now jumped to number 1. Nussmeier, number 1. Cade is right behind him at number 2 at current odds. That was on Monday. So, I mean, they're still in the thick of it. I think Clemson, when you're at home, I think DeBoer should have done a better job. Brian Kelly hasn't done well to open the season. He hasn't won a season opener in LSU, I believe. Okay, so for him you have that already in their mind. And DeBoer, I don't think got the guys ready. I think they were I think they could have done more to extend that early lead that they had, which I think was 10-3, I believe. And they didn't take advantage. And they should have. They missed some plays. They made some mistakes. So I think if they saw each other again, I think we'd have another great game. But as of right now, LSU, you got to put them right up there as one of the 4 best teams in the country, going on the road and beating Clemson.
Yeah, 100%. And to this last point before we get into this upcoming week is I've been saying this at least for years. I don't know. I think that you agree with this, but preseason rankings have to go. They have to go. You should rank the teams after week 1. I don't think that you should be ranking teams preseason. You have teams like Notre Dame historically, teams like LSU historically, which they have a good team this season, but you have teams that ride on their preseason ranking and don't deserve to be where they are. Honestly, if you don't have preseason rankings, you have teams like Florida State who deservingly deserve to be top 10 teams, and they're not. So I think that we should get rid of preseason rankings.
But I think, CJ, I think for the most part, it plays out, right? The one issue I have with the only issue I have with the preseason rankings is in years past when Oklahoma and Texas were in the Big 12, when there wasn't anybody else in that conference, that Oklahoma State once in a while. But other than that, you didn't have a team that can really, at least, in this decade, right? Like let's take the last 10 years, right? From 2015 and on, 2016 and on. When you rank those teams early, Clemson, in the ACC, when it was just really Clemson and Florida State, Florida State would struggle. I mean, we saw them win, 4 games, 3 or 1 game, and then Miami wasn't very good. So that was the issue with the top 20. That was the issue with the preseason rankings, because you were ranking Clemson, let's say, at 2 or 3, and if they had a loss throughout the year, you couldn't really drop them because they started the preseason ranked at 1, 2, or 3, right? Well, Texas and Oklahoma, they only really faced each other, and the once in a while that Oklahoma State was good. They didn't really face anybody else. Now that you have Texas and Oklahoma in the SEC, and you have some other, you have better teams, it's kind of playing out where at the end of the year you're going to kind of see, all right, if Florida State is really this good and they're at 8-0 or 7-0 or whatever, they're going to get to the 5 or the 6 ranking, because last week they weren't ranked. This week they're like 14 or 15. So they'll jump in. I mean, you got to remember
this week they should be in the top 10. That's my point.
Oh, well, they're in the top 10 on other polls, more important polls. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a minute.
All right.
So they're in top. They'll get there. And listen, it's the second week of the season. Do you really care about a top 10 ranking in the second week of the season?
No.
Because if you lose, you shouldn't.
But I care about good rankings.
No, listen. I understand that. And I understand where you're coming from. But I can see both sides. And like I said, if this were years past where we didn't have a 12-team playoff, where Texas and Oklahoma weren't in the SEC, where, now the Big Ten is completely loaded, where it's not just Ohio State and Michigan, and then Penn State was kind of there, but in reality, they weren't really there, right? It was just a facade that they were the 9th best team in the country. But when they faced Michigan and Ohio State, they looked like they shouldn't be ranked in the top 25. So now that now I don't mind it as much as I did before. The only one I still mind it with is Notre Dame, because for the most part, their schedule, and this year I know they just lost to Miami. They have A&M coming up this week, and they do play Boise, who's shit. It would bother me if a team like Boise was ranked in the top 10, because then if Boise just stayed winning again with a shit schedule, that's what would bother me. But it doesn't bother me that we ranked Alabama at 8 and they lost. And even if they would have won, they still have like 5 or 6, 7 ranked games, right? Like we look at Oklahoma, they're going to have 5 or 6, 7, 8 ranked games. Florida State's going to have 5 or 6 ranked games. Notre Dame's going to have at least 2 or 3 ranked games coming up, right? So, but if you took a team like Boise, they wouldn't have any fucking ranked games, basically, with the exception of the Notre Dame game. Right. That would bother me. But with the other teams, I think because of how big the Big Ten is now, and how big the SEC is, and how big the ACC is, and all the conferences have kind of added to it. And then, you're playing big games throughout the year. So I don't care about week 2 about Florida State, and Florida State shouldn't care about being ranked in the top 10 in week 2 anyways, because if you lose in week 5 or 6 to Miami, then it doesn't matter, right? So it's not as important. I feel like it doesn't bother me as much as it did in years past. In years past, it really bothered me because you'd have Oklahoma go undefeated all the way to the end and then lose, and then it's like, oh, we still got to put them in the playoff because they were the number 2 team all year long, right? And yeah, that's the problem that I have with it back then. Now it doesn't bother me as much.
Okay, that's fair. All right, well, moving on to the first group of teams from the conference of the Southeastern Conference, the conference that I hate the most. I think that there's really 3 interesting games, but I'm going to go to what I think is the game of the week in the conference, and that's Florida versus South Florida, with the performance that South Florida put on. I'm wondering what your thoughts are, if South Florida has a chance. The state of Florida is doing it big this year in college football.
Oh, they're doing it big. They're doing it big this year. They had big wins. I don't think this is the best team in this. I don't think this is the best game in this conference, by the way.
Interesting.
I don't, and I'll tell you why after this one, because we're going to cover that one next. But there's 3 good games. There's 2 good games in this conference. This is one of them. So yeah, you have South Florida going into Florida. Florida's still favored by 17.5. Can South Florida grow from that big win last week? Right? Can they? Because listen, they have Florida this week, and then they have Miami next week. So literally, it's like you have one big game after another, and it's
in
1
state,
week at a time. What's that?
I said in the state, so you're not going very far.
Yeah, and it's in state, so you're not going far. I listen, Florida 17.5 point favorite. It wouldn't shock me if South Florida kept this game close. And Florida was a big surprise for us last year. We thought they were going to be the worst team in the SEC. We
Right.
thought coach was gone. Instead, they have a fucking great season. Exceeded every
Relatively.
single expectation, right?
Yeah.
Exceeded every single expectation. Not for their fans, because their fans think that they have Tim Tebow and Aaron Hernandez on the
Cam
team
Newton.
all the time. And yeah, they still think that Cam Newton's the backup, and
Right.
they still think that their fucking team should be fucking 12-0 and in the playoff every year. They still believe that shit. Listen, I think this game's going to be sneaky good, but I think it's going to still be a double-digit game. I still think
Interesting.
Florida's
I
at home.
disagree.
I still think it's going to be a double-digit game. But hey, it's going to be a good one. Don't sleep on this game. I think it's
I know
going to
where
be
you're
a
going,
good
though.
game. Maybe Florida sneaks away late. I still think Florida wins this game. I don't know if they cover the 17.5, but I'm excited to watch this game.
This is my first skin tone pick of the Yappin Podcast. I like USF plus the 17.5.
You're going to take – okay, so listen, CJ's going to give you his first pick, sponsored by BetUS.com. Check them out. Promo code Yappin. You get a bonus. Easy cash payouts. Easy way to deposit. Your first deposit has to be Visa, MasterCard. After that, you can Zelle. You can do all sorts of stuff with BetUS. And the best part is when you use these sites, the most important thing for me is always the cash out. Yes. How fast can I get paid?
Yes.
And BetUS, within 48 hours, you can get your money. So make sure it's not some of those other sites where you got to wait 7, 8, 9, 10 days. And then you're still using the money. And by the time you actually looked and realized your money's gone, you fucking lost it, right? So take advantage, betus.com. CJ's giving you his first pick of the year. South Florida South Florida plus 17.5, sponsored by betus.com. Promo code Yappin. Check them out. Fill it out, get a new account. Promo code Yappin. You get a nice bonus in there. And like I said, easy payouts, which is the good part. So, but to me, the best game in this conference, CJ, is Michigan at Oklahoma. Number 15 against number 18.
Oh,
Oklahoma.
I completely missed it. Oh, I forgot about that game.
That one flew right over CJ's head.
No, it did. It completely flew over my head because it's at the bottom. ESPN suck my dick.
Yeah. So Michigan at Oklahoma. Oklahoma favored by 5.5. Listen, Michigan cannot let up. This is what bothers me about some of these teams. I think it was 17-0, and then they kind of let up a little bit. It's like, they need to understand that, and style points still count a little bit, okay? Because when that committee gets down to it, whatever it is at the beginning of October, early November, whatever it is, when they start putting these teams in their slots, they're already starting to do it, okay? It's not public, but they're already starting to do it. You need style points. But this is right here, this game, I think for both teams, it's kind of like, this is the game where I will find out how close I am to really being a playoff team. And I'm going to go, and this is a homer pick, and I don't know how I'm a homer, but I'm a homer for the freshman, Bryce Underwood. Give me Bryce Underwood in the 5.5 points. I'm taking the Michigan Wolverines to cover the 5.5. I think they're going to win this game, CJ. And be careful with Boomer Sooner and the Sooners down there in Norman. But I like Michigan. I like Michigan. I have Michigan as one of my teams in the playoffs. I'm going to be wrong on it probably, more than likely.
I was remember how shocked I was last week when you said Underwood impressed me. And I think this is going to be his first true test of the season. And I agree with you. I like Michigan not only to cover, but to win. I think they're going to win outright.
I like Michigan to win this game. The freshman's going to look good. He's going to impress. I think he's going to impress. I think he's going to impress. And I don't consider Oklahoma a real SEC team. Can I just say that? Can I say that? I'm going to say it. I don't give a fuck. It's our show. CJ, we say whatever the fuck we want. I'm going to say it. To me, Oklahoma's not – go back to the Big 12. I don't feel that you're a real SEC team. I don't feel that you're a real fucking threat. I just hate that you're always ranked preseason all the time. But you will soon fade. Okay? You will soon fade out. But I don't consider you a real SEC team at this point. So to me, I feel like this is a Big 10 match, a Big 10 Big 12 matchup. That's what I feel it is, even though it's a Big 10 SEC matchup. But I'm going to take the Michigan Wolverines and Bryce Underwood to tap that Boomer Sooner booty.
I think
on Saturday, by the way,
that if Venables in Oklahoma have a year or two like they've had in the past, so we can consider Oklahoma the new Notre Dame, where it's like preseason we just rank them because of the OU on the helmet, and we rank them because of the history, but we don't rank them because of what they actually have on their roster. And 1 or 2 more years after this season, we may just go ahead and crown them as the new Notre Dame if Notre Dame makes it back to the playoff and wins another playoff game.
Dude, I'm so fucking with you.
So
I am so with you on this fucking Boomer Sooner bullshit. I am fucking over. I am over that. I hope you get your ass kicked this week. Bryce Underwood, go in there, go down into Norman, tap that ass, get these dudes out of the top 25. Let's get these dudes back to the Big 12 where they fucking belong. So I'm officially just removing Oklahoma from the SEC. Listen, I voted on it myself. Just fucking, we're gonna give them back to the Big 12.
All right,
you know what?
All right.
Throw fucking Oklahoma State at least in the SEC. I feel like at least they're, I don't know.
We're doing too much.
If you want to do a swap,
you're going too far.
An Oklahoma swap.
You want to put somebody in the SEC, you look east, you go Florida or Florida State, Miami, you go one of those, Clemson maybe.
It's just all bad. It's all bad for Oklahoma. Let's go, but let's do it. And I think that's it. Oh, by the way, so
no, we got a game. We got a third game. I think is sneaky good. Mississippi State versus Arizona State.
That's the game I was about to bring up. Sneaky good. It could be sneaky good. Arizona State going on the road to Mississippi State, only favored by 6.5.
Yes.
Arizona State played Northern Arizona. They won by 19, I believe it was. Were they overly impressive? I don't think they were.
No.
I don't think they were, but I don't think they were not I don't think they underachieved, sort of, you could say. I don't think I just think they played Northern Arizona. We're just that good, we believe. Coach is phenomenal at Arizona State. But going on the road in an SEC team, right? What's it going to be like?
Right.
It could be dangerous, and you're only favored by 6.5. Okay, so this is one of those games like we mentioned earlier. Arizona State's ranked 12. They're going on the road. They're only favored by 6.5. If Mississippi State wins this game by 3, it's not the end of the world for Arizona State. ESPN.
It is not. Know about that.
Well, no. Let me rephrase that. Their season might be done.
Right. Yeah. No playoffs.
I don't think it's such a huge upset.
Okay.
Like people would believe because it's an unranked against a 12. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because the line's only 6.5.
Right.
So we'll say that I think is going to be a sneaky good game, and that's also a 4:30 kick. So there's that 4:30 slot, at least on Pacific time, is really good for the SEC games. You have Michigan and Oklahoma on ABC, and then you're going to have Arizona State, Mississippi State on ESPN too. So I think I think those two games, I think they're going to be really good. You'll be a channel fucking flipping and flopping back and forth on those two games. We should have 2 really good games in that time slot. And then the rest of the SEC, I just think gets a pass, right? Texas at home, favored by 30+. Texas A&M at home, favored by 30+. Georgia's at home, fucking favored by 50. Kentucky and Ole Miss. That's another sneaky one, by the way.
Sneaky,
Going into Kentucky, Ole Miss only favored by 9.5. Yeah. We know how Kentucky is. They're really good at home against Georgia. But this is Ole Miss, so we'll see. Tennessee's got a pass. Oh, another game, CJ. You were impressed with Missouri. I love Jalen Daniels from Kansas. Missouri hosting Kansas -6.5. And you said you were impressed with Missouri.
I love Missouri.
Okay, so this game, I think Kansas. Listen, either one of the teams that win this game, I believe will be ranked in the top 25 next week.
Yes.
Right. So I think both of the teams are right outside of that top 25, maybe between the 25 and 30. Mm-hmm. Missouri being at home, which is why they're given the 6.5. If it was a neutral site, it'd probably be a pick'em game. And if they were in Kansas, it'd probably be more or less the other way, be the other way around. I think this game could be good as well. That's it. That's a 12:30 kick on ESPN2. That game could be sneaky good as well. So there's 3 or 4 watchable games in that conference there that are worth watching. Everything else, Vanderbilt's at Virginia Tech. Yeah, that's an egg game, and then closing out with Alabama against University of Louisiana Monroe, their bye week. Let's see if they
Louisiana
can.
Monroe, just do us a favor and keep the game close. Keep the
Yeah,
game
line's
20
30.
points close. 20
Brian
to
Williams gonna have
15
2
points.
touchdowns in the first quarter and sit down.
Right.
Like that.
But
That might happen.
moving on to the Big Ten, which I think has a much better slate going down the line. I'm going to start with Illinois versus Duke, and I think that this is a big upset watch for Illinois. I think that Duke can go in there and make a splash. What do you think about the Duke Blue Devils?
This is another one of those games we mentioned earlier with the rankings.
Right.
Illinois is ranked at 11 in one of the polls, 12 in the other. They're going on the road to Duke, only favored by 2.5. Okay, so only favored by 2.5 with Duke against Duke at Duke. This is one of those games, early time slot, 9 a.m. Some of you guys who sleep in, you could wake up to Illinois being down 10
Right.
points earlier.
Yes.
Right, and it wouldn't be It wouldn't be shocking, and it would do. Listen, if Duke somehow Illinois goes in there and Duke wins that game, that just elevates the ACC a little more for the season, right?
Like another team in that mix.
Game means more to the ACC, means more for the ACC for the season going forward, and for their rankings going forward, not just with Duke, but with everyone who's gonna play versus Duke, right? So I think this is a big game for the ACC. If they could get this win, especially early against a top 12 team, I think it would be huge. Let's see how good Illinois really is. I mean, favored by 2.5, you're going on the road, down to Chapel Hill. So we'll see, or Durham. I'm sorry. So I think it's gonna be a good game.
Yeah, and then I think another upset watch, in my opinion, Iowa State at versus Iowa. Obviously, a rivalry game, in state rivalry. I think that this is a big upset watch for Iowa State. I do like Iowa State in this game personally to cover 3.5, but I think that Iowa can make a splash here. What do you think?
Oh, Iowa can definitely make it. Iowa can always make a splash. The problem is, can they score the football?
Right.
That's the problem. Can they score the fucking football? Iowa State, listen, they have 2 wins, and they've looked the best of the Big 12 teams. With the TCU's obviously look good in their one game, but it's a big game for Iowa State as well right here. Getting a win against Iowa. I know it's a rival, but more importantly, besides the fact that it's a rivalry game, it's a Big Ten opponent.
Yep.
It's a Big Ten opponent, goes a long way for your playoff resume, right? Because if you fall off and you have a loss, maybe even 2, a win against an Iowa team that can possibly maybe beat a Michigan team or Penn State team. I don't know who's on their schedule, but Iowa can definitely beat one of those those top end Big Ten teams. And then a win for Iowa State against an Iowa team would hold a lot for the playoff race. So a lot of playoff implications early. Like a lot of we always, and we saw it last year where a lot of people are like, oh, we can lose a game, maybe even 2. You can afford to lose a game, maybe 2 if you're Ohio State.
Exactly.
If you're Georgia, maybe if you're Texas, you can afford to maybe lose a game.
The
or
blue
2.
chips, right?
Yeah, you can maybe afford to lose 1 or 2. If you're in the Big 12, you can't afford to really, so you got to win this game. So I think it's going to be a great game.
100%. But moving on to the next game that I think is another good sneaky one at 12:30 slot on CBS, Oregon versus Oklahoma State. Obviously, Oregon had that week 1 matchup. They looked really, really, really good. But they play a tough Oklahoma State team, runs the ball, always tough. What do you think about Oregon playing the Cowboys here?
Oh, dude, I think Oregon's going to kill these guys.
Oh, really?
I don't think they even have a chance.
Wow.
I don't even think they have a chance.
So you're saying they cover the 29.5, huh?
I think Oregon, I don't think Oklahoma State has a chance. I don't think they have a chance in hell, to be honest with you.
Interesting.
I really don't. I think Coach Gundy, listen, I think the times of Oklahoma State being ranked in the top 15, the top 20, I think those rosters are gone at Oklahoma State. I don't think he can get them. I don't think he can get them to those teams. And so for me, when I saw them play a little bit last week, you started off and you didn't perform against a team that you should have annihilated. And now you're going to go on the road against an Oregon team that's just foaming at the mouth. They have these. I think I'm not giving Oklahoma State any credit whatsoever. So for Oregon, for me, there's a reason that Oregon's favored by 30. Vegas understands how not good Oklahoma State is at this point for them, because when in years past would we have seen Oklahoma State a 30-point underdog to anybody? It's been a while. I mean, last year they weren't very good, and maybe the year before, but it's kind of been a while. So I can see Oregon winning this game. I mean, just easy. I can see this game being over by midway through the third quarter. I can see a 42-6 with a couple field goals from Oklahoma State, maybe. But I can see Oregon just absolutely annihilating Oklahoma State. I give Oklahoma State zero fucking chance in this game, CJ.
Wow. All right. I like it. All right. The next game that I think is interesting one, but the line is 4.5. I think Michigan State at Boston College is a very interesting one. Obviously, Boston College has been tough the last few years. I actually like Boston College here to cover the 4.5. I don't know if they win. I think this is probably like a 3-point game, but what do you think?
Listen, so early money, early action has been on Michigan State. Line was 3, now it's 4.5.
Okay.
Sharp money has been on Michigan State. But this is another game here for Boston College and for the ACC, where you have a chance to beat a Big Ten team. And listen, quarterback looked good last week. I know they didn't play a good team, but they can go in there. I'm with you. I think Boston College keeps it close. I think they can go in there and win this game. Realistically, okay, I think they can go in there and beat Michigan State on Saturday. It wouldn't surprise me. But I think this is gonna be a good game. Don't throw this game away.
Right.
This is gonna be a good
solid game.
Yes,
right.
I think it's gonna be a really good football game on Saturday to watch.
All right. Well, I don't have anything else for the Big Ten. I was going to move on to the Big 12. Did you have anything else that you wanted to cover? I think the rest of the games are kind of shitters.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to cover staying in the Big Ten. UCLA going into UNLV, neither team looked good last. UNLV didn't look good the first week.
I think UCLA shit out of them.
UCLA looked awful.
Right.
They looked. I mean, just god awful. That has to be for a player of that caliber, right? From what he did at Tennessee.
Yeah.
Okay? Did he do that at Tennessee because the talent around him was just extremely good? Did they help with some of his, I don't know, inaccuracies, lack of talent in certain positions, right? Because to me, when I saw that kid play last year at Tennessee, I thought, wow, he's that good. He's that good. He can go somewhere, right? And because that's what I thought last week when he's going to play Utah. He's at home. I thought he was good enough. Watching him from last year, I thought he was good enough this year to carry a team against a Utah team. I'm not asking you to beat Michigan. Right. I'm not asking you to beat fucking Clemson or even a middle of the pack SEC or Big Ten team, but a Utah team who everybody kind of feels this Utah team is kind of like a throwaway season. Like maybe they're 7-5, maybe they're 8-4. But this is not those Utah teams that we've seen ranked in the top 10 and 15 before. And you go out and you lose by 30 plus. Were you just a product of talent and great coaching around you? He will need to prove that. And he did. He looked awful the first week.
Which is interesting because he was top 5 in the Big Ten in the QBR.
And the SEC, you mean?
No, Nico. I mean, this week. He was top 5 in the Big Ten in QBR.
Yeah, I don't care. You scored 10
points. Right.
Yeah, I don't care how good you were at QBR. I think what did he throw? 130 yards?
Yeah, something like that.
So he didn't do well. And I know, listen, we know Utah's defense, Willingham, he gets guys ready to play, yada, yada, yada. When you were that good in the SEC, okay, when you were that good last year, when you fucking demanded this, and that, and then you leave and you do this against a team that a lot of people don't think is going to be very good this year. They don't think it's a 3-win team, but they don't think it's a 10-win team. And they made you look like they're a 10-win team and you don't belong playing football. That's what it felt like. I'll be honest with you. That's what I felt like. I felt like last year he looked like flashes of being the best quarterback in the SEC to this year not being the best quarterback in the American. Okay? So
Did
that's
you
what I
see
felt
what
like last week.
Deshaun Foster said, though? I think Deshaun Foster may be the worst press conference coach that I have ever seen,
Oh, he's
because
awful.
his quote was, "We were really close." Really
What the
close
fuck
to
were you
what?
talking? It
Really
was
close to
like
what? I have no idea. Close
bro,
to mercy rule, maybe.
dude, it was 20-0 before you fucking opened your eyes. Bro, it
Like,
was 20 to
I don't
nothing.
know. He's the worst press. What goes through his head when he's answering questions from interviewers or journalists, I don't know, because we were close. My guy, that was the most uncompetitive. I turned the game off in the middle of the first because I just knew it was over. I'm like, oh, I'm just watching the line of scrimmage. This is over. They have no chance.
Yeah, it
And
was.
so we were close, brother. You're a few games away from possibly getting fired.
Yeah, I don't know if he survives. Think about it, CJ. They play UNLV this week on the road. They're favored by 3 points, right? And then after that, they get New Mexico at home, which is fine. But can you imagine if this team went to Northwestern and lost? Because then he's got Penn State at home, which is a fucking loss, and that there's going to be blue and white all over that Rose Bowl. And then they go to Michigan State. And then they go to this man might have one win. If you lose this week, you might have one win under your belt going into that Michigan State game. Listen, Northwestern is not a very good football team, but goddamn, neither are you. This man, your quarterback had 136 yards passing and 47 rushing, and he was your leading rusher. I mean, God. And you thought you were close, motherfucker? The only thing you were close to was getting fired.
Unemployment.
Unemployed. Another fucking state employee collecting money, not doing shit. That shit is famous in California.
Shocker.
All fucking city employees, state employees in this state are fucking thieving. And I think they're still paying Jim Mora Jr. They might still be paying Chip Kelly.
Chip Kelly still getting a check.
Yeah.
But
Jim, yeah. So anyways,
that's the Big Ten.
That's the Big Ten. We got anything in the ACC this week?
I went to the Big 12 first because I do think that there is an upset alert, but we can go to the ACC.
Okay, no, you can go to Big 12. Yeah. Big 12, fine.
Yeah, Baylor, SMU. SMU's only 2.5-point favorites. I think that this is an upset alert. This is my second skin tone pick of the week. I like the Baylor Bears plus 2.5. I like them to go in there and upset SMU and cause a little bit of disruption in that conference. I like that.
Baylor can score the football.
Yes. They played a tough Auburn team. Auburn's really good, I think. And I think that they just got outplayed, but I think this is a much weaker opponent, and I think they compete.
Baylor can score the football. Listen, the ACC, the ACC has huge games this week. And we're looking at, Duke, Boston College, SMU. They have big games. This is a big week for the ACC and for that kind of that middle of the pack ACC team to help the conference for the long run, for the playoff run. But I'm with you. I think it wouldn't shock. Listen, Baylor, they're going up the road an hour and a half into Highland Park there to face the SMU Mustangs, baby. I think this is going to be a good game, CJ. I wouldn't shock me if Baylor. I think 64.5. I like that total because I like the way Baylor can score the football. I like SMU's style. Okay. And I don't think Baylor is going to – Baylor starting 0-1, you have a mindset of we got nothing to lose at this point, right? We're 0-1 already. Let's go out and fucking put the fuck to these guys and do what we do, which we know that quarterback can throw the football all over the field, right? And the Robertson there from he had 48 pass attempts last week. He's probably going to have another game where he's going to have 40-plus pass attempts. I think Baylor goes in there. I'm with you, CJ. I think Baylor can go in there and smack them in the mouth.
Yes.
I really do.
By 10, 14 points maybe.
It wouldn't shock me either which way this game went. I think you're going to get a high-scoring game, 64.5. Watch out for that total. I think that's a good game. Check on betus.com. Check it out. Promo code Yappin. 64.5 is my pick for this game. CJ likes Baylor. I also like Baylor. I like the over more. 64.5. Check it out on betus.com. Promo code Yappin. You get a nice bonus in there. Fast payouts, baby. That's all you care about. That's all you should always care about. When you
Yes.
go on these sites and you're looking, check the payouts. I want to get paid quick. If I win, I want to get paid something. If you win 100, you deposited 100, you win 50, send me 25. Fuck it. I'll go get gas for a little bit. At least in California, you get 2 gallons for $25. So what else we got in the Big 12? What else we got in that Big 12?
You ain't
baby?
said a lie yet, motherfucker. You ain't said a lie yet.
I'm not lying. We covered Kansas and Missouri. Deion's got Delaware coming into town. They're favored by 24.5. Deion should show out this week. Let Salter cook and do his thing. Utah gets into the top 25. They got an easy game with Cal Poly. Kansas State, not impressive.
No.
Not impressive at all. With Avery Johnson coming back.
He's not good. I don't think he's very
he
good.
was better.
Yeah, I don't think he's very good.
It's just your imagination. That he's good. That he's good. He has fooled us. Bro, I like the kid.
He has fooled America.
Bro, that motherfucker's fooled me. Avery Johnson, my man. Jesus Christ. He's got a black name and he's a white guy and he plays
But he's
like
half
a
white.
fucking
He's half
Asian
black.
dude.
His dad's black.
Oh, his dad's black?
Yeah, his dad's black.
Yeah, he's whiter than a motherfucker though. But they're hosting Army 17.5. Army lost week 1.
Charleston State.
Dude, I don't even watch that game, to be honest with you.
No, I wouldn't watch it at all. I'm not tuning in for sure.
We talked about Arizona State and Mississippi State. BYU's favored by 20. Sharps are on that game. That line's moved. I think it was 19. Now it's up to 20.5, actually. So watch out on that. So other than that, I think we've covered most of the games in the Big 12. They have some Big 10 matchups. Oklahoma State, Oregon, Iowa State, Iowa.
Right.
Texas Tech favored by 49. By the way, Texas Tech, that was my early pick in the Big 12 with Iowa State. I think they're going to be pretty good. CJ, I think Texas Tech is going to be right there in that Big 12.
I'm hearing a lot of that. A lot of people are big on Texas Tech.
Yeah, so I'm in there with them.
Go ahead.
I'm in there with them for sure. And then we'll jump into the ACC. Thursday night, you're going to have Louisville with the former USC quarterback and Miller Moss, right? He's the starter at Louisville. Here from the San Fernando Valley, Alamany High School, yada yada yada, all the bullshit. Yep. Didn't look good last week. I'm not all the bullshit, man.
It's not bullshit. When we have guys who are from out here and played high school football in Southern California, we rep them. Miller Moss.
No. I threw him out there. Miller Moss, Alamany High School, yada yada yada, all the bullshit.
But you just threw it to the side, like you can't.
I threw it out there. I threw it out there and I threw it away. All of the bullshit. No. Former USC quarterback. He didn't play good week 1.
No.
They're playing a James Madison team who is a team that is from those group of 5 teams that they kind of, it's one of those teams where you can always feel they're not Boise. You don't get a Boise vibe from them, but I think we will for the years to come. I think James Madison is going to be one of those teams that we can consider as one of those Power 5 teams getting into playoffs sooner rather than later. This is a tough game for them on the road at Louisville. They're 12.5 point underdog. Miller Moss, like I said, didn't play good last week. Had 2 interceptions. Didn't look very good. We'll see how he does this week. That's on Thursday. We talked about Illinois and Duke.
Rafa, there's a sneaky good one that we have.
We're going to get to it.
All right.
I'm just kind of giving you a rundown. Florida State's going to host East Texas A&M. Florida State, we know what they've done, what they did last week against Bama. So they should roll here. We talked about SMU. Virginia at NC State, CJ.
Yes.
Virginia, NC State. NC State favored by 2.5. Now, this game is for me is unwatchable. I can't watch
what?
For me, it's unwatchable. I can't stand either of these 2 schools.
And?
I really can't, so I can't watch them. But the game should be good.
Yes,
thank you. The game should be really, really, really good. I think you're going to get a tight game. Total set at 53.5. I can see this game getting right under that total, to be honest with you. I can see this game like a 27-20, maybe 24-27, maybe coming in right below there. NC State, I thought had a good first half last week. Second half didn't look so good against East Carolina. Right? They kind of let up a little bit, and to me, you cannot let up, especially not in college football.
Is tough. Yeah, that first week is tough though.
Yeah, but when you're at home, man, and you're up 20-7 at halftime, or I'm sorry, 20. Yeah, I think it was 20 to 10 or whatever.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and the game got a little closer as it went on. But what's your take on this game? Because I know you like it, and I like the quarterback at NC State.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I like NC State to cover the 2.5. I think they went outright. The total, it for me is a little high. I think this could be a very kind of 2017 a type of game. I'm a homer this one because our boy Drake Metcalf starting right guard for the Virginia football team here. So we're gonna go Virginia. I like NC State. I can't get away from NC State. I think they're gonna cover, but I'm really hoping that Drake and the boys for Virginia can pull it out. Again, another big game for the ACC. The ACC has a lot of big games. I'm looking at the conference, and I don't know one team that doesn't have a big game in the ACC.
Well, they can definitely make a splash. I mean, you can definitely make a splash. You have, Florida State's got a gimme game, and then Pitt's got a gimme game as well. But even the Syracuse game against UConn, UConn's one of those teams where it's like, it's UConn, it's the University of Connecticut, they play basketball, yada yada yada. Syracuse only favored by 6.5. Syracuse played well last week against Tennessee. They weren't in the game, but it felt like it wasn't totally over, right? And so you had that. So I think that's a game to watch. Keep an eye out there for Syracuse and the 6.5. Then you have Western Carolina against Wake Forest. That should be a nothing. Clemson facing Troy. If you're Clemson, this is the same thing for Texas this week. Same thing for Alabama. When you're getting these games and you didn't perform well the week before, you need to have a big game from your quarterback and your offense to put some confidence back into them. Yeah. Because for them to build some confidence back for them personally, right? Because you didn't play good last week, and Clemson didn't play good last week at home, right? And I know they played a tough LSU team and yada, yada, yada. And so you have a game against Troy where you're favored by 30 plus, almost 34 points. Clemson, I think, needs to come in. I think you need to let Cade just kind of, let him throw the ball 30 times, 25 plus times, and see how he does. Let him get the ball in the end zone and get him some confidence back.
100%. I don't disagree with that. But another, go ahead.
Let's go through it real quick. Haynes King and Georgia Tech, they get Gardner Webb. That's a fucking ass whooping and a half. By the way, how good did Haynes King look last week running that football against fucking? He looked good running that football against Deion's ass all night, all afternoon long, all night long, whatever the fuck you want to call it. He had 19 carries for 156 yards. He ran for 3 touchdowns, CJ. That man ran for he's the quarterback. And Haynes King is a white dude, which is shocking as fuck, but he runs like a black man. So Haynes King, 19 carries, 156 yards last week, 3 touchdowns. Listen, if he does this week after week after week, I'm throwing his hat in the Heisman ring.
Oh, 100%. I was waiting for you to say it.
I'm throwing his hat in the Heisman.
Black horse, 100%.
In the Heisman chat. We could throw his hat in there. I mean, listen, this week they're not playing anybody. They're playing Gardner Webb. No disrespect to Gardner Webb, but all the disrespect to Gardner Webb.
But this is the type of game where you kind of put your name in there. I have, 3 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns. I'm that guy. I'm going to do big things this year. I did it versus a shitty team, but this is the type of game where you kind of just stat pad. You stat pad.
100%. Listen, 19 carries and 156 yards against a Big 12 school last week on the road is all impressive. Right. All good. But hey, it's just step 1. We got another 11 steps to get there. Right. So, and listen, like CJ says, get your hat in the ring. I threw your hat in the ring already. Keep that motherfucker in there this week. Stat pad, put up 5 total touchdowns against Gardner Webb. Sit down at midway through the third quarter. Call it an afternoon on Saturday. Then you got Cal against Texas Southern. I mean, that's just going to be disgusting. Miami's hosting an HBCU. I mean, listen. Okay, did Carson Beck not look decent last week, CJ?
This is the Carson Beck that I've been waiting to see kind of reemerge. But it goes to prove that when he has weapons, by the way, that catch was the best thing I've seen since Odell. That
might have been above.
Better. Thank you.
Was that not better?
You know why it was better? You know why it was better to me? because you had a safety over top that was supposed to pick the ball. And
Yes,
versus
sir.
Odell, it was one-on-one. But you got,
One-on-one.
I had two guys, over top safety and a DB who was hanging on to him, and goes up and gets that catch. That was supposed to be an over top pick all day, every day long.
But you know what? You know why people will not consider it better? Because they had to review it because it looked like he might have dropped it. Which to me he didn't.
No.
It was still an amazing fucking catch. So Miami's at home. They should roll. North Carolina only favored by 14 against a Charlotte team. This is just embarrassing.
So
only
bad.
favored by 13.5 on the road in Charlotte, North Carolina, against a Charlotte team that lost last week.
Yeah.
And I'm going to check who Charlotte lost last week to. Charlotte lost to Appalachian State 34-11. Okay. And they get to play North Carolina this week, and they are only 14-point underdogs. So
I believe Charlotte's in North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Charlotte, North Carolina, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir. And so we will see how that goes. It should be an ugly, disgusting game. And if you watch it, probably poke your eyes out. And then we talked about Boston College and Michigan State, and then Stanford and BYU we've already mentioned. So,
are you missing VTech versus Vanderbilt?
Oh, you're right. I mentioned it earlier, and when we did the SEC, we didn't get into it. So Vanderbilt's going into Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech's favored by 1.5. Virginia Tech lost last week to South Carolina. They're opening with 2 games against the SEC. South Carolina. To me, listen, I like Lenora Sellers. Did he cement himself as anything last week? No. Against a Virginia Tech team. How good is this Virginia Tech team for South Carolina not for Lenore's not to cement himself last week? We'll see this week.
Right.
Because they're going to face Vanderbilt. And Vanderbilt's not a great team by any means, but they're not a horrible team either.
I like Pavia.
So it'll be an interesting game, CJ. I think it'll be an interesting game.
I think Vanderbilt's going to crush that 1.5. I think they win by 7-10.
Really?
I think Pavia goes the fuck off. And I think he had 275 for 3 touchdowns last week.
He was impressive last week. There's no doubt about it. He was impressive last week. Just on the road in Blacksburg, yada yada yada, all the bullshit.
Right.
What can he do on the road? Listen, if he has a good game, they start 2-0. I mean, hey, maybe they're in the top 30 and then a win away from getting in the top 25. Who knows? But it could be a sneaky good game. You think Vanderbilt's going to roll them? You think Pavia's going to throw another 3 touchdowns against his Virginia Tech team? You think Pavia is better than Norris Sellers is what you're telling me, CJ, is what I'm running with here on this show.
I didn't say that shit.
but so anyways, yeah, I like Vanderbilt as well, CJ. I think that's a great pick. And if you want to bet on all these games, you want to play blackjack, you want to play roulette, you can do it on betus.com, promo code Yappin. Check them out, betus.com. You can bet all the football, all the baseball, all the tennis, the U.S. Open. You can bet the Ryder Cup. You want to play some blackjack. You want to play some roulette. You can do it all on betus.com. Promo code Yappin. Check them out. Fast payouts, the most important thing. So that covers basically our schedule for the week. We kind of gone over the bigger games. There is not a huge ranked matchup besides
Michigan,
maybe
Oklahoma. Right.
Besides Michigan, Oklahoma is I think the biggest. But there's plenty of good games.
Yeah.
There's plenty of good games. Yeah, Iowa State, Baylor, SMU. A lot of in-state games that we believe are going to be good. South Florida at Florida. I mean, a lot of in-state games that we believe could be good this weekend. Texas and Penn State, you feel like they're going to just whoop ass this week. Those lines are ridiculously large. So now that we've gone through all the games, we've recapped the crap from last week. We're going to do this every week. I'm going to give you my top 12 teams that I believe will be in the playoff. And I have to throw a group of 5 team in there, unfortunately, at 12. So I will do it. But I'm also going to put in another team there at 12. And so my group of 5 team of the week, and this will change next week because I don't think they win this week. I'm going to put my group of 5 this weekend as South Florida. They're from the American Conference. We saw them beat Boise last week, just annihilated Boise, and Boise's been kind of the group of 5 team which everyone feels is going to be in the fucking playoff forever. So I think South Florida this week, I'm going to give them the group of 5 nod. And although I have to put them in at number 12, I'm going to put them in as fucking 12B. Okay. But playoff wise, they would be in today, is my opinion, the first group of 5 team in this week. And look, going forward, watch out for Tulane, James Madison, especially if they can get a win this week against Miller Moss, and Louisville would be huge. But now let's get to 12 real football teams that I can rank. I'm going to go number 12. I'm going to put the Florida State Seminoles in at number 12. I know CJ's upset they're in the top 15. They should be in the top 10. I'm going to put them in at number 12, just based off of whooping Alabama's ass. Can they sustain it? We will see. At number 11, I'm going to go Michigan. I love Bryce Underwood. I said it last week. CJ didn't clip it because his Wi-Fi sucked ass. But I love Michigan. I love this kid. He's my new favorite player. I will don that jersey at some point this season. You will see it on here. I'm going to wear it. Number 10, I'm going to put Notre Dame at number 10. Listen, they played well. And the schedule for them, they're going to have A&M next. I think it's next week. That'll kind of cement a little bit for them. They get Boise, they get USC. They'll still be in that playoff hunt unless they lose another game. Then to me, I think they're completely gone. Number 9, I'm going to put Clemson. I thought they would had a chance to go undefeated. I really did. And them not showing up for most of that game, I think they'll fix that. And I think they'll eventually end up in the playoff for sure. I have them at number 9. At number 8, I'm going to put South Carolina all the way up to number 8 from 12. And it's not even for what they did, because I don't think they were all that impressive. I just think it's what Clemson and Notre Dame kind of did that I kind of have to put them here, right? So that's why I'm putting South Carolina there. I'm putting 7 at number 7. I'm putting Texas, who was number 1. The offense didn't look good. Defense looked fucking great. We talked about it. They were on the road, all of that shit. But I think they'll eventually end up, to be honest with you, I think they can win outright, except for maybe that game at Georgia. Number 6, I'm going to put the Oregon Ducks, who CJ somehow thinks Oklahoma State's going to show up and play football against them. I think Oklahoma State has zero fucking chance against this Oregon Ducks team this weekend. The line is 29.5. I don't give a shit. The line was 34.5. Oklahoma State does not belong on the same football field as this Oregon Ducks team, especially not in Oregon. So I'm going to put Oregon at number 6. I'm going to put the University of Miami, the U, at number 5. Impressive win last week. They got a couple of games coming up. But it all leads to a, hopefully happens in October 4th, undefeated matchup, Florida State, Miami. We'll see if we get that. But I'm going to put Miami right now at number 5. I think Carson Beck looked really, really good. The Carson Beck kind of people expected last year and didn't get. Number 4, I'm going to put those Georgia Bulldogs, Carson Beck's former team, at number 4. I still think Kirby's the best coach in college football, and you will not move me from the Dogs. If they keep winning, they will be eventually 3 and eventually 2. And if Ohio State loses, my Georgia Bulldogs will be number 1.
We know.
You know this. At number 3, I'm going to put the LSU Tigers, who I don't believe can win the SEC. They went on the road and won an amazing fucking game. Newsmeyer looked amazing. He's leading the candidate Heisman talk right now with 1 touchdown pass. I don't know how the fuck it works, but hey, he got a great win on the road, and good for LSU. And I don't like Brian Kelly, but there they are. Number 2, the Penn State Nittany Lions. There is no denying they are right now the second best team in the country, and we'll see as the schedule goes on, and you know, when the Buckeyes game come, we'll see where Penn State stands. And at number 1, by far and away, the best team in the land, the Ohio State Buckeyes. I mean, yes, they were at home. That defense was sensational. Texas's defense was sensational. Those 2 units were amazing. Ohio State had the edge because they won that game. They for sure have a better head coach. They have probably the best player in the country on both sides of the fucking football. Let's be real. So Ohio State, to me, best team in the land, clear cut, the best number 1 team in the country. I think they will sit here probably the entire year at number 1. So that is my 12 teams. Your group of 5 right now, South Florida, or I'm sorry, non-power teams fucking group up. To me, it's a non-power 4 team is what they should be called, because none of them are good enough to ever play in that other in the other 4 conferences. But group of 5 team, South Florida, Tulane, James Madison, all to consider right now. But those are my 12 playoff teams as of right now. I think Ohio State team, far and away the best team in the land.
All right, man. That's all I got for you this week.
So that is it. Thank you for tuning in to our college football special show that we will do every week leading up to the national title. So we're going to do this every week. Comment. And remember, we are sponsored by betus.com. Promo code Yappin. You can bet anything you want. You want to play in the casino, they have it all. Promo code Yappin, YAPPIN. You'll get a nice bonus. And just remember, every time you deposit, put that promo code in. You'll get a bonus every time you deposit. Okay, so keep that in mind. But thank you for tuning in. And next week, we should have another doozy.